Hi, I'm Mayor Charles Kemp, and welcome to Citizen Connection. We're trying to get the message out about the interesting things that are going on in our community, and I do them by either questions that are asked to me or thoughts that I have on my own. And today, I want to talk about the uniqueness of Fairmont. A lot of people think that Fairmont is, changing and doing some interesting things right now, and that's true. We're improving it every day. But Fairmont has an old history. We go back over 100 years, and we've got a lot of interesting things. And I want to talk just for a few minutes about the uniqueness of Fairmont. And I'd like to start about the uniqueness of Fairmont with our town museum. If you've ever been in the museum, which is in the north end of our business district, it has a rather unusual and interesting shape and structure. At one time it was the train depot because we had a train line here, and a lot of tobacco was shipped out of Fairmont to go to Winston-Salem through American Tobacco Company and R.J. Reynolds. And so Mr. Wiley Taylor redesigned that old depot when we lost the railroad and turned it into a museum. If you ever have a chance, you ought to go in there. Ms. Liv Haywood would love to have you. So that's a unique part of our history. Another is the Yo building. We call it the Yo building. Actually, it was the former Fairmont Post Office, and it set off a furor in this town in 1962 with the multicolored glass front. All the elderly people in town at that time, my aunts included, were very up in arms about the reds and the purples and the blues and all that on the front of that building. But over the years it served as our post office since 1962, and then when the post office moved, it served as a headquarters for a grant to educate young people. Today it sits idle, and hopefully we're trying to find a renter for that. Another unique place in our town is the library. It used to be the Southern National Bank building, and today it is of course our library. We work with the Robinson County Library, and last November it served as the backdrop for a movie that was filmed in Fairmont with Colin Firth and Emily Blunt, two very well-known actors, and we were very fortunate to have them come and film a movie there at our library. The theater is a unique place. We don't have a theater anymore. Where the theater once stood is now Heritage Park with the beautiful train that was painted there that we had to paint over and going to have to repaint. But that theater served for many years here as entertainment for our folks. I sat in there and watched Frankenstein and the Werewolf and got scared to death and watched Western movies. But the theater is a part of our history. The Fairmont Department Store right across the street. It's the oldest building in town, built in 1904 by a gentleman out of South Carolina. And we have a lot of old buildings. In fact, that's what got us the National Historic Registry accreditation 2 years ago. Our town hall, the building that I'm sitting in filming this, was once the Fairmont Hotel, and this is where all the tobacconists who came down annually for the tobacco season stayed in this very building. And where the courtroom is now was the cafeteria, and it was a very interesting place. It was like a beacon for people all over the town. And finally, the thing that made Fairmont unique was tobacco, as you know, and we had tobacco warehouses, big metal huge buildings where we sold the tobacco. Well, unfortunately, they've changed the tobacco process now, and all that's gone. Fairmont's still unique. Even though we've lost many of these places and we don't use them anymore, it's still a unique place. I love it. I call it home, and I advise you to do the same. And if you're from outside and you're watching this, come and visit. This has been Community Connection. I'm Mayor Charles Kemp, and I'll be back next week with another interesting show.